Hello, everyone, and welcome to another lovely episode from JayFx. Welcome to our episode for symbolism. Now, this particular episode is a special one. It's a special one because it's a topic that has a very broad level of understanding, and it covers multiple layers of the categories involved in forex trading. And one of the reasons why I decided to make this particular video is because I found out that there's not much information about this particular topic in the aspect of forex trading in the public, as to we mentors who mentor people who use this particular system, especially the one called smart money concept in technical analysis. And symbolism is something that is everywhere in forex trading, from the aspect of candlesticks. Like, the term candlesticks is a symbolic representation, something that you have to have an insight about to be able to understand the meaning. Like, if you look into the meaning of symbols or the term symbolism itself outside just forex trading, you will find out so many insightful information. And this particular aspect is something that I want you guys to also take your time and look into. Not in terms of forex trading as you are doing right now, because I am not going to be doing that particular homework for you. I'm just giving you an insight based on how this plays a role in forex trading. In a universal scale, the role of symbolism, I want you to do your own research and study it. Symbolism as a field of energetic exchange, symbolism in the field of influence and illusion, symbolism in terms of multiple layers of perception. If you look into things like this, you would understand so many things, and you also learn. That's the best part. You also learn. So, in the terms of forex, now, a lot of people see forex as an average thing, a very minor thing, something that you do mainly to make money. That is one of the reasons why all of us came to trading in the first place. We came here to look for money. And don't forget, we also came into trading at a very early age. Majority of us, and most of you who did not, came into trading because you experienced life and you found out that independence is something you have to get by yourself. In as much as the word independence means being independent, but for you to experience independence, you have to get it yourself. So getting a job which is a 9 to 5 is not something that can really get you that freedom you're looking for. So you now decide to adventure into something that as an entity, it gives you the leverage of your own control. You get to execute trades yourself, you get to do things yourself. And this is something trading brings to the table. So why we came into trading in the first place is mainly to make money. But that doesn't mean that trading is generally all about making money. Understand this. Because trading is a gateway that can help you get your financial freedom, doesn't mean trading itself was meant to give you financial freedom. If you understand this, you now understand that financial freedom itself might just be an illusion, which you think is what you're after, while what you're after is the experience of happiness and self-reflection. And that is left for you to do your own homework. I'm going to keep going deeper into the terms of forex trading and not in a general scale. So when you keep getting insights, I want you to just jot things down. Like I tell you, JFX House is an academy. So we study, and you expect videos like this on a regular basis, because I do this when I have the feeling to do it, so I just channel these stuffs out. And I have made a lot of research to my own experience. I have been in this field practically since I started looking for money. I've been trading, and trading has been what I've been doing. And the more I keep doing it, I keep growing. The more I grow, the more I learn. And the more I know more about trading. So most of you might have already had experience with engineering, banking, other aspect of life before you came into trading. So most of these things I'm saying to you might be giving you insight from a different perspective. You're welcome. And at the same time, I'm only doing this because of trading. Okay, so do your own research yourself and learn what you need to learn yourself and help yourself out. And now back to what we were talking about, which is trading. In terms of what we think is trading, trading itself is a gateway to understanding universal symbolism. That is a whole lot of information, and I want you guys to process it yourself. Trading, this is a general breakdown. I'm doing this because I have to, because value is everything, and if I know it, I just put it out. It's also value to my name. So trading is a gateway to understanding universal symbols. How does this happen? Like, let me break it down. Now, when you say being a trader, for you to be able to make money from trading, you have to process analysis. You have to make analysis. You have to then also interpret the market for you to get that analysis. You have to convert information to make funds with your own psychology. So it's not like the computer, even in as much as the computer is involved, you still have to do some mental work. And this is something we all know, right? You also need to collect information from different places and convert them into insights that will then better your decision, whichever it is. The better you do this, the more accurate you become. The more accurate you become, you make funds. Now, this entire process I just jot down for you, what does it do to you psychologically? If you think about that, you understand one of the reasons why Forex traders are very brilliant. You have so many individuals, when they say they have been into trading for the past 4 to 5 years, they start developing psychological insights and they start developing subconscious intellectuality. This is something that is normal, except you don't have these insights I'm explaining to you right now, which you're welcome again. You now understand that trading is a 21st century modern alchemy system. Like, it's basically turning a substance into something without any physical help by just using your brain. All you do is within the computer. So trading is a job that doesn't require your physical body to do anything special. Think about that also. And then people make millions from this. I'm not even the first, I'm not the second. And people are making millions from this. It's happening, Now, when we talk about the symbolic aspect of trading, I just gave you guys an insight from a basic perspective of how trading plays a role into symbolism and why this topic is something you need to understand as well as a Forex trader. And then if you notice in this particular video, I'm not doing more of trying to tell you more about join JayFx House or subscribe or leave a like. That's mainly because I'm giving out too much information in this particular video. And if you don't see it helpful and you don't want to subscribe, that's your business. I'll keep doing what I'm doing and you keep learning. People are just not really showing any effort in supporting these days against self. So in social and psychological aspects, let's go into symbolism. And then let's talk about trading mainly. So I'm going to show you how trading relates to social, psychological aspects. And now when you talk about psychology and social is talking about a group of people, not just your own perspective. So a general perspective. Narrative and psychological is talking about storyline and how you understand it. Okay, your own understanding towards it is different from the social aspect. So, but the way you tell your story to the society as well play a role in your own understanding of the narrative. So, narrative and telling of story, these two things go together. It's like telling your own aspect. When they're doing investigation, they get your own information, you get this other person's information. By the end of the day, you both are trying to give information about the same thing, but different narrative. Okay, so that's how we all interpret the market with different strategies. And you're doing this on a regular basis. Like, the exchange of this particular process gives you a mental strength. Now, being a Forex trader for the past 5 years or for the past 4 years, you have been developing these abilities subconsciously. I'm practically telling you, you have a superpower mentally that you're not aware of. So mentally powerful that it can actually prevent some kind of subconscious stupid actions you might even want to take if you actually start listening to yourself and looking your insights more valuable than an average person. I'm not saying you should, but look into it and see what you find as well. Now, in the process and in the aspect of personal narrative and trading, you have the concept of journaling. Remember, everything I'm telling you here I'm not inventing it. You can go and do your own research. I want you to go and do your own research. Journaling is something we do on a regular basis. If you want to be successful, if you're a successful trader, then you journal a lot. Okay? So journaling is something that we do for you to be successful. And for you to journal is basically telling you to look into yourself and take your mistakes and take your wins, take your, observe your actions. If you look into psychological programming and you understand the effects of journaling, then you would also understand what you're practicing. And then you would also understand what trading is doing to you psychologically outside you trying to make money. This is why in the beginning of the video, I explained the aspect of trading. We came here to make money, right? But we are not actually just making money anymore. We have gone into a system that is doing something to us psychologically that if you are aware of, you can apply it to other aspects of your reality and it will help you in a great level of defense when it comes to symbolic effects and energetic exchange. So that journaling plays a role in the psychological aspect. Fundamental analysis. When we tell fundamental analysis, we are basically giving our own narrative to what we understand from the political perspective of civilization, and also we're also giving our personal insights to what we prefer it should be. You understand? So we are all just giving our own perspectives when it comes to fundamental analysis based on a particular insight. That's psychological, and as well, that is a narrative aspect. That is a psychological thing. Technical analysis, I'm not going to break down too much again, so we can cover much aspect of this particular topic for today. Technical analysis is also a psychological thing, like the process of doing technical analysis. Like, let's not even go into that because it's very broad. You have multiple technical methods. You have price action. You have indicators. What are these aspects? If this was the church, you're indirectly saying you have the music department, you have the choir department, you have the deacons, you have the pope, and then all these people together make one particular thing work, which is the result of a Sunday service. You have Wyckoff method, you have smart money concepts. We are human beings as well, doing these things digitally, worldwide, playing different roles in doing these particular actions under a system known as technical analysis. In just one aspect of trading. We're not talking about fundamentals. We're not talking about the effect of bias. We're not talking about every other aspect I'm going to still expose to you and show you some things that you need to be aware of as a human being that can also help you in a positive aspect. Now, this whole process is turning data into an insight so you can make a proper decision. This whole psychological action is also a ritual. Now, what I mean by a ritual, I mean it's something you do repeatedly. It's something you do over and 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 over again. It's not something you do once. For you to be successful in trading, you have to keep doing these actions. You have to keep taking records because you make new trades. You have to look at more fundamental analysis. You have to know more insights about politics. You have to read more about technical analysis. Like, do you understand? It's a process that as well, if it's in the church, they're saying you have to read your Bible every single day. So it's a process. You understand? So it has its own psychological effects, which is dormant in you because you're not aware of it. And then you then start to belittle yourself because what you don't know, you don't know. So this is also giving you clearance and information. In also psychological aspects, we have reflection. Trading also make you reflect on your losses. If you're a trader, if you're a new trader, this is sounding like new things. So start writing things down because you have to know these things I'm explaining to you for you to become successful. If you're a successful trader, you don't know these things. Well, hello, I'm telling you, you have superpowers. You have to be aware so you can teach others. So, you gain from giving value like I'm doing right now. If you are a mid trader and you're not aware, okay, congratulations, I'm opening doors for you to the next step. All these things are necessities for you to be aware of, for you to be successful in trading. Because consciousness is a different action from someone who is doing something subconsciously, because consciously can make a decision of right and wrong. Subconsciously doesn't make a decision of right or wrong. It just follows what you're used to. So it follows the pattern you have already laid. So if you have informations like this subconsciously, then your information starts making decisions based on your subconscious actions, regardless of the narrative you're looking at that moment. Which, when you're trying to make a decision in the market, your subconscious action can save you from taking a bad trade. That is being aware of some certain mistakes and some certain symbols that symbolize this, but you didn't know the meaning of symbols before, so you didn't know the relevance of it. You didn't take it that serious, or to close that trade, or to open that trade, or to take that trade. So confluence itself is a process of symbolic interpretation. To confluence two strategies together is a process of symbolic interpretation, and we will get to that aspect. We're still on the psychological aspect of symbolism in trading. So we talk about reflection. Reflection. In the aspect of reflecting on your bad trades, it makes you improve. In aspect of reviewing your good trades, it gives you confidence. And then in the aspect of emotional highs and lows, reflecting on how you control your emotions when you're in a trade, fear of missing out, all those kind of stuff. Those are what spirituality calls shadow works. Do your own research. I'm not claiming anything. Do your own research. Reflecting on your emotions and taking notes is basically doing your shadow work. Before you try to do some certain human animalism, think about what you're doing psychologically and look at that level of shadow work that took you from a level of poverty to success. Because trading makes people rich subconsciously. That is a flaw. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Trading also makes people rich subconsciously, because when you become rich subconsciously, you become like a musician. Those dumb rich people, they don't really know the effects of their actions. They just want to make money. And that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing. That's what's hurting the world actually, but nobody's willing to talk about that. So when you become rich and you don't have a level of intellectual understanding, it becomes a problem to society in a general scale. You do dumb things and it hurts the hard work of people who have done intellectual work that would help advance civilization. So know something, have a little bit of sense. Learn a little bit. In as much as you have learned in the past, repeating things over and over and over and over again, it doesn't hurt anybody, especially when they are good things. It do more good when you repeat things that are good. You understand? Good is when you do for others. So when you do for others, you're doing for society. When you do for society, you help. Like how I'm doing right now, bringing your awareness to this. I'm doing good to you personally, individually. At the same time, it does good back to me in so many levels that would actually benefit me more than it benefits you. But at the same time, this good I'm doing, you can do it too. Do you understand? You can do it too. Just by liking the video self, you're supporting me. That's still doing good, but what are you practicing? Think about that. Over what you think you're doing, what are you actually practicing? Are you practicing good? Because what you give is what you get. So look at what you're doing. Maybe that shadow work is also something trading can give you if you are aware of it. Because these reflections can steer you away from ego, the shadow side of ego, and give you freedom, self-freedom. And then you can help others and also help yourself and live a better life. So trading in that aspect is also a psychological thing. This is the deeper level of trading. These are for people who already know how to trade, or maybe I already experienced a few of these stuffs I'm trying to explain. For the new guys, it's as if I'm talking too much. Don't worry, you will get used to it when you learn. Either you learn the easy way or you learn the hard way. The hard way is from your own experience. It's just hard. It's not like it's a bad thing. The easy way is listening to things like this and taking actions. It's easy. You just listen and then you do something else to improve and stay away from the problem. But nobody likes things easy. They like to experience it before they trust it. So You can experience the terrible sides of these outcomes and then you learn, you know. Community trading, online digital community you see, and trading memes are collective symbols. Like all these stuffs, as it's happening on a social scale in the aspect of music and all these things, it's also happening in the aspect of trading. Somebody who goes into music to become a musician, there's the aspect of producer, there's an aspect of DJ, there's an aspect of musician, all those other stuffs. But for them to be successful, you need to understand the entity aspect of music itself. That's why most musicians are not successful. This is real valuable stuff, you know, and it's the same in every aspect of everything. Like everything, I'm telling you, if you look into the aspect of academy, like academy, going into academy, you want to start teaching. What aspect do you want to go into? Are you going into lecturing? Are you going to this? You know, all these stuffs in the aspect of politics. There are too many aspects as well. You have to label out what you're going for, and all this plays a role in success because you have to be disciplined, and discipline is something that trading gives you, whether you like it or not. But you not being aware of it is you having a subconscious power you do not know the symbolic meaning of. So it is dormant and is not useful to you, neither is it useful to the trading space. The aim of this video is to give you that level of awareness so you can start making yourself useful. You know, so God can bless you. Now, why does this matter as a topic? Before we go into the aspect of symbolism, because all this I've been explaining is just the psychological aspect. We'll talk about the grammar of chart. What I mentioned in the earlier aspect when I talked about candlesticks, if you can remember. I would also talk about how we have the engulfing candles and we have trading lines. These trading lines and smart money patterns are giving you trading in a broader scale, putting multiple candlesticks together to draw a particular narrative that has been happening over and over and over again. And then engulfing pattern, that candle pattern called engulfing, yes, like what is displaying on the screen, is a different form of symbolic interpretation. It's a different form of symbolic representation itself, you know, and that is different from the symbolic representation of a channel from a trend line. And that is also different from a symbolic representation of smart money concept. But remember where I mentioned technical analysis in the psychological aspect of symbolism? Yes. This aspect I'm talking about are under the technical aspects. You see? So also, remember, this video is giving you so much information at once. Watching it over again, it does not hurt you. It only gives you more clearance and awareness to some of the things I said that I was saying very, very fast. Okay. And I'm also going to be talking about the aspect of numbers. Like if you know anything about symbolism, or if you're doing a little bit of research into symbolism, you will be aware that numbers and alphabets are symbolic representation of insights. Like how we are even able to have English language. How am I even able to even interpret this? How the algorithm is being able to even understand the information to create a caption for you. All those stuffs are alphabet and numbers. Those are all symbolic representation. And then in trading, we then have numbers that we use to highlight the price of the market, right? That's a rule. That's a rule of numerology. We also have Fibonacci ratios that we use in the terms of technical analysis to interpret the direction of the market. That's also something that on a universal scale, when you start learning anything related to Fibonacci, you're going into a mystical level that only you might be able to understand what you're experiencing. And trading is giving you this on a normal level. Like you use Fibonacci to play. Fibonacci is a confluence, like it's not even something you make major decision on when in terms of trading. And these are all the same things. So all these aspects are other sacred geometry, if I'm not mistaken. That's a topic on its own that if you study it, you start to understand I think sacred geometry. Yeah, something like that. That particular aspect covers Fibonacci ratios and sequence. And this is something within trading is a normal thing. Like the current episode of mentorship we're going through right now, which is harmonic patterns, is talking about harmonic patterns. These are ratios that are generated with Fibonacci levels. Like harmonic patterns were developed over the years using Fibonacci ratios. People used Fibonacci ratios to the point that they started developing patterns and started naming it butterfly, crab. Like they started having fun with this stuff. And these stuffs are symbolic representation that, are very, very deep. So ask yourself, if you're coming to trading to make money and trading gives financial freedom, why do you think trading gives financial freedom? How do you even think it gives financial freedom? Because the things that music use to enlighten her participants and bring them up into entertainers that become public figures and become wealthy, which is success. Trading gives it to her own people on a level of fun that themselves may not even be aware of their capacities, to the point that they start manifesting success even without knowing how they are successful. For example, when we come into Nigerian Forex traders, if you go into the internet now and search for Nigerian Forex traders, you don't see people like me easily. You start to see people who don't even show anything related to trading. They are looking at, they are within the space of community influence. They are into the space, they are just within the space of symbolic representation and community influence. This is because Africa currently is under an entertainment scale right now. So entertainers are more viral than the intellectuals. So on that particular aspect, when you search for something, the algorithm gives you more of entertainers than intellectuals. I don't have any information to why this is happening. Ask somebody else. But at the same time, in terms of trading, now, before it gives intellectuals, it first gives you entertainers, which I believe in the nearest future, this is going to be different. So that's why you have content like this right now. You now understand that trading has, if not more, every single thing every other industry has that makes it special and uses it for fun. That's how powerful. Let me even give you one weird aspect of trading that so many people are not even aware of. Do you know that an average individual who has no information about forex trading cannot interpret the information I'm giving out like this? Like, for you to be able to understand the level of insights I'm giving out, you have to know what forex trading is about. This is how powerful trading is. Like, you can't just know it how you just go and search about music and then you look into it and you learn, or how you read the Bible and then you know something about Jesus Christ. You can't just get a trading book and read about trading, then know how to trade. Did you know? So you can't just learn about another block and then you automatically know how to trade. You can't gain success from that. That's to tell you that trading on a surface level is an illusion. Okay? Trading on a surface level is an illusion. If you are not grounded in your own self to understand what you're looking for, you're going to get lost in trading. You're not going to find any success. Ask around. A lot of people have quit. They don't quit because they were not good or they didn't spend money in knowledge. Believe me, most of them spent a lot of money before they quit. But me, myself, personally, I've not spent much money in trading compared to what I've gotten. I'm telling you, I just have done a lot of work like what I'm doing right now. And that is a different thing from spending money, because money is refined value. So you're trying to spend refined value on something that knows value more than you. Who do you think you're fooling? You're going to lose at the end of the day. So trading is going to make you rich, but trading is not looking for you to give it money for you to be rich. Trading needs you to give it time and value, and then in return you get a good time. Like, it's exchange. The word Forex. Forex is a symbolic meaning itself, symbolizing foreign exchange. Foreign itself means an exchange from outside. Now, when you say exchange, you're talking about exchange between two entities or two persons. So Forex exchange is the process between exchange between two entities. Now, in terms of the financial market, where we now come to how we do Forex on a physical level, we use currencies. Currency symbolizing the value of a country. The value of a country is what we use to do what people gamble on sports. That's why trading looks like gambling. Do you know the level of power that thing is? Like on that particular scale, if you look at it like that, that is what trading is. Like, that is what you're coming to learn from YouTube. And you think you don't need to spend time and do your own research. Well, let's see how far you go before you find success. That is a personal decision. Now, let's go back to the main topic of the day, symbolism. We just talked about the psychological aspects, and I'm wrapping that up now. I'm going into the summary of the topic of today, which is symbolism. And then when we talk about symbolism in Forex trading, not on the psychological aspect anymore, but on the physical aspect. Like I said earlier, you have to look into, number one, the grammar of charts. The grammar of charts. What do I mean by the grammar? I'm talking about the patterns. The patterns you see as candlesticks. What you can interpret, what you break down from supply and demand, represented in a form of a candlestick. The term candlestick is symbolizing a candle. We know what candles do. They burn out. So they burn out, right? They burn, and then you see the rope. It keeps burning. So when you look at a candlestick, it symbolizes a candle with 2 wicks, one above, one below, and they both burn out. Because, the decision of the price of the market now moves these candlesticks. So when they move, the decision is based on the laws of supply and demand within the market. How is this algorithm even operated to even do such powerful stuff? And at the same time, we are using it as a casual tool, and we call it a casual name, candlesticks, to make it easy for everybody to understand. So that's a symbolic interpretation. It's a symbolic interpretation of a chart, outside using pie charts or bar charts or histograms, which were complex tools used in the past. Presently, we are using candlesticks, and it's as powerful, if not more, than most of those things that we're using in the past. We have the body telling its own story. We have the wick telling its own story. We have the colors of the candle telling a different story, like when you hear Forex traders mentioning bulls and bears. Bull doesn't mean there's a bull physically in the market, or there's movement between bulls and bears. No. Bull symbolizes the positive movement of the market, which is the candle going higher. Bears symbolizes the negative movement of the market, which is the candles going lower. And then when the candle passes the level of open, which it started from, to the downside, the candle changes into a bearish candle. A bearish candle means a candle which is below the opening price of when it was created, because candlesticks are created based on time frames. So each time frame has its own candlestick. So when you understand the meaning of candlesticks itself, you now understand why candlestick holds a very high level of value in terms of Forex trading, and why it's very casual. Because it was made casual on purpose, because when everybody knows how to do this and do their own research, a lot of people become rich. I don't think that favors anybody. Depends. That's independent perspective. So candlesticks, look into it from a symbolic perspective, not just looking at it as a candlestick, and see what you can learn. Think of them as modern pictograms. I don't know if you've heard that term before. Pictograms, just like how you have Instagram, and how you have Telegram, and how you have Instagram. There's something called pictogram. I want you to look at it and go browse it out and see what you find about that. Now, engulfing patterns, like I said earlier, is a different form of candlestick interpretation. This is outside what the meaning of candlestick is. We're talking about the representation of a particular form of candlestick So when this pattern is formed, when the candlestick is formed in this particular way, it is called an engulfing. The form of this pattern gives a particular information that explains what is going to happen next in the market. So we now have a candlestick representation that is happening on the daily time frame. Remember, I told you candlesticks were made based on time frames. So on the daily time frame, and then when you interpret this, it gives you an information of what is likely to happen on the lower time frame from a single candlestick. That particular pattern is called an engulfing. And this is a symbolic interpretation. You simply just look at this candle and you know what is going to, you can predict what the next two candles could do. That's what we're talking about. You can look at a single candle and you can say, I think the next candle is going to be bearish because of this bearish engulfing I'm seeing. And then that can give you information of what the previous candle did. And you have an insight already. That's the point of this whole thing. A symbolic meaning is something that, remember the meaning of symbolism, is something that holds a meaning deeper than just what you are seeing in the surface level. So candlesticks themselves are giving you an insight from just the surface level of being the open of price, supply and demand, what I explained earlier, to a deeper level of a single candle pattern being the engulfing candle. Now let's talk about the deeper one, which is the smart money concept and other archetypes like Elliott wave, Wyckoff, all of those ones, even trend line. Trend line basically looks at candle on a long range and then makes a prediction based on the let me not even go into that. Right now, I just gave you an insight already on the symbolic interpretations of candlesticks. That is one. Moving on to the next one, where I talked about the numerology aspect of symbolic interpretation, where we have the Fibonacci ratios, like what I said earlier, and then where we have numbers playing a role in trading. And I want you to also look at numbers in a universal level and also what role they play in civilization. Like in terms of mathematics, mathematics is solely based on numbers. Think about that. And then if we can do so many structures and we can create so many things by the common logic with mathematics, then what is mathematics itself? You know, if 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, then what is 2? Symbolizing. And what is 4? Symbolizing. You know, what's the symbolic interpretation of alphabets that creates a billboard? Outside looking at just the colors and, you know, all that aspect, which I think would also round up. That's what we use to round up the topic for the day. But in the aspect of sequence and ratios and fractions and decimal numbers and all this stuff that we learned casually from childhood, what role do you think they play in psychological programming in terms of symbolic interpretation? Because if 1 itself is symbolizing something, and 2 itself symbolizing something, and 3 itself is symbolizing something, and then we use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 symbolizing multiple things to interpret other things, which now interprets the value of our currency. Like saying I have $2, I have $10, I have $4. I'm going to buy Euro USD when it gets to this level. I'm going to sell Euro USD when it gets to this level. Then you should understand that numbers is a different influence from alphabets. And alphabet and numbers are things you should look into and learn, even if it's just for the sake of learning. Just look into it and learn and see what you can learn from that. And we also have this influence in trading, which I think when you learn about those things, it will be beneficial to you when it comes to decision making. Remember, a subconscious mind that is aware of the intellect within the body makes a proper decision than a conscious mind that is only aware of the ego. I don't even know if I can repeat that, but if you can replay it, you replay it yourself and see what you learn from that. Now, in terms of color and what role they play and how they influence us in trading, remember, I'm only talking about trading. When we talk about colors, we all use our own chart interpretation. Everybody in trading has their own chart color. Like, If you know the role which trading view, the level of which trading view advances the abilities you can do in trading. And it's not just trading view. We have multiple apps that you can use to do these things. You can basically choose your own color. You can make your own design. And you can build up your own narrative, like your own insights, the way you see things, how you want to even do your, like, because these colors, our brain makes decision based on shapes and symbolic interpretations. Did you know that? If you don't, make your own research. Our brains, like, if you understand the influence of which colors, the role of which colors play to our brain, you would also understand the reason why if your TV hits the ground, it will show multiple colors. Like, when the screen goes, psh, you see the colors, red, blue, If you have never seen that thing before, then maybe they gave birth to you recently. Or you're not stubborn. You're not stubborn enough to have knocked down a TV before. Or you have not even watched it on TV, or you've not watched older movies. But the reason why those colors pop up plays a role to how the image on the screen is formed. And then when you understand the meaning of that, it gives you an insight to some things that some people know that you don't know, that your brain can use to make your life better. So success comes from a universal level. If you're going to be successful in trading, you're going to know these things already. You just don't know them consciously, you see. And the reasons why you idolize celebrities is because those celebrities are aware of these things. You yourself, you're not. So because you're not aware, your brain is aware that you're not aware. So your brain is on a lower level. You now have to upgrade your brain. But this is something trading also does for you. So you already have the upgrade. You just don't know that you are that intellectual because you have never actually really made any study outside your own experience. You have shielded yourself in your own ego, which is something I think you should now drop and try to learn more. Try to be more supportive. Try to look at new public figures. Try to give a video like this an opportunity to play it at this point. Don't just grade it based on the level of engagement, which I know this particular video is going to get a lot of engagement because as you can see, what I'm saying is something I know. I don't sound like I don't know what I'm doing. So I definitely know why I'm doing it right now and how I'm doing it right now. And you yourself know why you're getting this particular video right now. So we are all playing a role on a universal level and I'm just playing my role. So go and do your own research and see what you can learn from this. So, like I said, you can see every reason why symbolism plays a very, very big role in forex trading and how forex trading has played a very big role in reality and how symbolism has also cultured civilization for a very, 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 very long time, but people are not majorly aware of it. And you are now aware of most of these things. And you have the opportunity to, and the option to do your own research at your own will is now a matter of self-discipline. So this will be the roundup of this particular video titled The Introduction of Symbolism to Forex Trading. And I would see you on the next episode. This is dedicated to JayFx House community. And I'm doing more of this kind of content to also help liberate us as we grow together as a community so we can have a collective perspective of what we think about forex trading that can aim the community to success. Because for the community to be successful means we have a lot of successful traders from the community. So my aim is basically to raise the awareness of traders as I teach you guys technical analysis as well. So we can all be a high level class trader. I'm not looking for fans. I didn't create any of these things to get followers like the other public figures that are looking for you to be their fans. I'm just doing it so you can gain success, so we can all be successful, because I have tested poverty and it is not sweet. So I don't want anybody to be poor, So go and create your own value and go and learn. Do your own research and get conscious. And I will see you on the next episode where we talk about technical analysis. Thank you and goodbye.